So why can't it be enough?
Yeah, I agree with you. It should be. And again, talking biblically, the scripture also says, love endureth all things. So love should be enough because love should be the catalyst to cover. Um, but, we use pride as well.
What's your deal breaker?
Her cheating or me being unhappy.
You know how many relationships out there, even back in the day, that them men that cheat on their women and they been
So,
together like 40, 50 years.
so you say men.
How was it when you came up?
For me, I grew up Saturday morning cartoons, eating cereal. And, during the week with school, moms didn't play no extracurricular, nothing. You had to do your work, schoolwork, and then you had dinner, a chore or two, and then you went to bed after.
Hey, is it hard? Huh?
Welcome to another Twisted Tuesdays, y'all, where we have a real conversation about real life experiences. Man, today, I told you she was coming back. I told you she was coming back. She's going to come back again and again and again. My sister, Shera Renee, is coming on the stage. And we're going to talk about, is love enough? You know, that can go into many, many, many avenues. So, after her countdown, let's dive into this conversation. Hey, sis.
This is had to
You
make sure
back
I had my
again.
mic turned on because you know how we do.
Right. We gonna be on mute and stuff every time.
It's
Every
on. It's
time. Never
on.
fails. So all right, you got to start the conversation off. You got to talk about this. Is love enough?
I mean, it's not in any facet, whether you talking about relationships or family dynamics, love is not enough. It also depends on what in particular you're talking about. Is love enough to stay in a marriage? Is love enough to stay in a relationship? Is love enough to tolerate family members that disrespect you? Then the answer is no all across the board.
But see, I was on mute again. But still though, like, I mean, people say that love keeps people together. Love keeps families together. But if you saying that love is not enough, then what is enough? Like, what keeps people together? What keeps families together? What just keeps them mended together if love is not enough?
I mean, love should be the focus. Love should be what you think about when things come up. Like in a marriage, if you find yourself in a position where you want to leave, you should focus on why you got together in the first place. And if it's about love, then that should be the focus. So in that regard, you could say it's enough. And the family dynamic, when it comes to severing ties with the family or even friends, you should focus on the love that you have for your family members. But I think it all boils down to respect, because if you respect me and then you love me at the same time, then a lot of the stuff you would or would not do will stream from the amount of respect that you have for me. Because I'm not going to talk to my mother in the old kind of way, not because I love her. Yeah, I love her, but I respect her. I have a reverence for my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like a spouse, I wouldn't cheat on my spouse, not because I love them. I mean, yeah, I do love them, but I respect what we're trying to build and where we're trying to go. So I think love and respect go hand in hand in that aspect.
I agree. I agree. I mean, yeah, it goes hand in hand because if you respect me and you love me at the same time, it's certain things that you won't do. It's certain boundaries that you're gonna have because you respect me. But see, what people don't understand is love is a verb. Word love is an action. And people just throw that word around so much and say, yeah, I love you. I love you. I love you. But do you really? Because your actions speak differently to me. So love is probably not enough. I used to think that love was enough to keep people together. I used to think love was like the foundation of everything in life. But then when I started looking at it as an action word, then I'm like, it takes a little bit more than love. It takes communication. It takes respect. It takes boundaries. It's so many things that have to come along with love because it's not going to keep you in no situation you're in just because you love them. And then you give people passes because you love them. And they don't understand that. You stay in somebody's life because, okay, I love that. That's my mom, or that's my aunt, or that's my sister, that's my brothers, and I love them. So now you allow them to disrespect you because you love them. No.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like because we're not navigating love the way God does, that's another reason why it's not enough. Because everything that God did for us stemmed in love. The scripture even says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His Son." So He made the ultimate sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And that stemmed from His love. So the love should be the catalyst, but because we don't operate in that type of love, it's not for us. Like you said, in regards to I love my mom or I love my aunt or I love this person, that should be enough for us to not do the things that we do. But nowadays, you can love a person and not even like them. You can love a person because now you have that title. Oh, love them from afar. What does that even mean? Like, if I love you, if I put out this amount of feeling towards you or care or concern towards you, I can't just love you from afar because my love is tangible. I have to talk to you. I have to be around you. I have to check on you. Even if you're not in a relationship aspect, you're my family. I love you. I care about how you doing, your well being. If you're in a way, then I'm in a way. That's love. I can't do that from afar. I don't know how to love people from afar. I either love you or I don't love you. Or we like it's
I
either
mean,
one or the other. I can't do that. I just can't.
but see, you saying it from a biblical standpoint. What if God stood at that cross that day and he looked at that cross and he said, you know what? Do I love these people? He didn't know none of us. He know that he created us in his image, but he didn't really know us, but he loved us. So to me, love can be enough. It was enough for him to save us. Why is it not enough for us in the real world to love each other and that be enough? God loved us and then he created us. He wrote the story, yes, but he loved us not knowing what directions we were going to go in, what channels we were going to go in our lives. He didn't know that we was going to change our stories or nothing, but he still loved us. So why can't it be enough?
Yeah, I agree with you. It should be. And again, talking biblically, the scripture also says, love endureth all things. So love should be enough because love should be the catalyst to cover. Um, but, we use pride as well and we allow pride to get in the way of love enduring all things. These people that's been together 30, 40, 50 years, now we're talking about relationships. They've been together that many years. They know love endures all things. I'm pretty sure our grandparents dealt with infidelity. I'm pretty sure they dealt with side babies. I'm pretty sure they dealt with all kind of things, but they knew once they stood at that altar and they took those vows, for better or worse, that's exactly what they meant. And nowadays, like you said earlier, to your point, people throw that love word around so loosely. It's time that we get back to really honoring what that means. God tells you love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast. Like He breaks it down as to how we are supposed to love people. And we just do the opposite of that and then call it love. And we need to start taking these words back, taking these titles. Me and you feel very strongly about titles, taking these titles back and showing people exactly what it's supposed to be. Don't sit in my life and call yourself my sister or my brother or whoever, especially if you chose that title. It's one thing if you was given that title because of blood, then you won't treat it any old kind of way, because when something is given to you, you don't honor it the way you would if you worked for it or you chose it. So if you had a job and you had a family, you came from a lineage of success and it was like your daddy had the company, you're going to be a poor piss supervisor because it's your daddy's company. It's not the same thing as if you chose to be a supervisor and you worked for that job. You're going to treat that title with a little more respect and value. And that's why I honor and I value certain people in my life, because if you choose to be with me and you choose to hold a certain title, then I choose to hold you accountable to that title because you chose that title. I didn't choose that title for you.
Exactly. But you know what? Those people that been in the relationships for like 40 and 50 years, yes, they probably cheated on each other. The difference with the men then that get in these long-term relationships like that, they might have went out there and cheated on their wives, but they took care of their homes. They didn't let that
Yeah,
interfere with their situations, with their children, and with
yeah,
their wives. It doesn't say that they didn't go
yeah,
through anything, but they took their vows seriously. It says for
yeah,
better or worse, through sickness, through health, rich or poor. Like, and I really
yeah,
believe in that stuff when it comes to marriage. And that's why, listen, marriage is not easy, but I strongly believe that we're gonna go through all of this. Because at the end of the day, you're still gonna be looking at each other at the end, and you're gonna go through this stuff, but everything has a season. You go through different
yeah.
seasons in relationships. You go through different seasons in friendships. You go through different seasons in life, period. But
Mm-hmm.
it's how you handle those situations at the same time.
Yeah,
But what I'm tired of is people saying that they are this and they're not. Loyalty plays a part too. And you
yeah,
having these situations with people, or these people choosing to have these titles, you have to be loyal in front of my face and
and behind
behind my
my
back.
back. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't know how to do that. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And they really don't know what that four-letter word means. That word is powerful.
Yeah,
And you can't just throw that word around and think that's going to get you what you want. It might get you what you want for the moment. But if you're dealing with people that want long-term connections, long-term relationships, that word holds a lot of power. And you can't just throw that
yeah,
around lightly. You got to be careful how you use that word with people that really, really genuinely want to be in your life.
yeah.
Period. I
You
mean,
gotta
that's how I
definitely
feel.
watch. You have to definitely watch too how they navigate the relationships in their lives as well, because then that will show how they kind of will navigate the relationships with you, especially if they throw the word love around. Okay, so if you love me, then what does love mean to you? What do you tolerate? What don't you tolerate? Because if you tolerate disrespect, then that means that's what you're gonna pour out onto me. If you tolerate lying and cheating and different things like that, then that's what you're going to do to me. So, um, just like we have these questions when we are in relationships with people, we need to do the same things when we have friends or quote unquote family, because we have to do our research with people too. And if you are the type of person like you and I, and we sign up for stuff and we sign up for the long term of things, it's important to ask those questions and realize that when you are getting into a relationship, especially like marriage, you're standing at that altar. First of all, biblically, you already know that the altar, anything that's given at the altar is a sacrifice. So you and your spouse are standing in front of each other, just like if you was when you was like people who like boxing. You're standing in the ring, and this is not your opponent though. This is somebody that you're going to be fighting with, not fighting against. You're fighting with. So when you decide to go to marriage, remember when you're walking down the aisle, that's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself for the greater good of the marriage. That means however you feeling, your pride, whatever it is that you got personally that will hinder you from getting to the end goal, which is forever. This is what you're sacrificing at the altar. So you're standing there in front of all of these witnesses, however you want to do it, judge, whatever. You're standing in front of these people and you're telling them that I am standing here with you, sacrificing myself and committing to fighting with you and letting love endure all things, our love endure all things. And if people really understood, and that's why I'm a very analytical person, I like people to know the details of stuff. If people really understood the heaviness and the severity of what marriage is, I don't think a lot of people would have ever gotten married or ever walked down the aisle or even had kids. You can even talk about love from a parent perspective. Love definitely covers a multitude of things because, baby, your nephews, okay? Like, you know that's love because you still breathing. Uh, Like, so in a way, love is supposed to cover, and it does when it's done in the right pretense.
But see, if you put it that way, fighting, even with just a marriage, with not even just a marriage, if any type of relationship that you have in your life, if you treat it as I'm in the ring with you fighting, it's the same concept. Because you're my sister, you should be my safe space, I should be your safe space. We should be able to communicate effectively about whatever it is that's on our minds
Yeah.
and be there for
Hmm.
each other. I shouldn't second
Hmm.
guess calling you and talking to you about something that I clearly is bothering me. I should
Yeah.
be able to pick that phone up and talk to you because love trumps it all.
Yeah.
But that's when it comes
Yeah.
to showing each other that you love each other. And a lot of people rush into marriage. They
Yeah.
rush into marriage and they think that, okay, we love each other. We're in this honeymoon stage. Oh my God, you're everything to me. And then to find out they nasty.
Sure.
They got
Okay.
attitudes. They
Okay.
ain't nothing like they was when you first fell in love with them. But now this is the season that you're gonna have to go through. This is really what's gonna tell you whether or not you love this person for real, because you can
Yeah.
tolerate them at any level. Because we're gonna change every day. You're gonna meet a new person every single day when you're married. It's not gonna be the same person that you fell in love with. It's not. And if we
Yeah.
can understand that you're gonna go through stages like that in marriage, then guess what? All marriages would be perfect to a degree because we understand that. Yeah, I met Nikki today, but I might meet Nicole tomorrow.
Okay.
Then I might meet Nikki the next day. Like we're gonna change seasons. We're everything is not gonna be good. There's gonna be people that's gonna come into your marriage. There's gonna be people that's gonna come into your relationship and try to destroy your situation. But you got to be
Yeah.
strong enough to stand against these storms and to keep
Yeah.
yourself grounded within that marriage. Because
Yeah.
you said standing in front of all those people, whether it was the
I did.
judge or whether it was a group of people,
Hmm.
that you were gonna be there through
Yeah.
sickness and health, rich or poor,
Yeah.
whatever you go through. You said you was gonna go through this with that person. So, with that being said, you got to block out all those distractions, and you got to
Yeah.
make that thing work.
Yeah.
Now
And
love ain't the thing now. It's everything else that's around it.
I don't think people believe that that's going to actually happen. Like I kid you not, as soon as you say those vows, you're going to get tested, literally. Like people go through sickness early. It's not a elderly thing where, oh, well, I don't have to worry about them dying from cancer in our 80s. They could do that in 2 years. Like you have to literally, when you sign up to be with a person forever, you have to definitely take that on. That's why I think people say you are supposed to see everybody in their all their seasons, because you have to see how this person is when they're sick, when they don't have no money, when they're sad, when they're anxious. Can you handle all of these different, like you said, to your point, can you handle all these different varieties of me? Because me happy is not me when I'm anxious, baby. You gonna be like, child, get somebody else to
Get
do
somebody
it
else to
because
do
she
it.
she a little cray cray. Like, but me happy when I got everything. Okay, I'm sunshine, but let stuff start unraveling. I'm gonna be pulling my hair out. Can you handle that? So Yeah, I mean, love is it's a powerful thing. It's supposed to be a beautiful thing. It's supposed to be a God-given thing. And when it's done the right way in any facet, whether it be relationships, family, whatever, you are
Mhm.
signing up to take on any storm that's given to you with this person, and y'all getting through it. A little disagreement, if it sways you, then that is not who you need to be. You're not a branch in my life. I mean, a
Nope.
root. You are a leaf. A leaf will sway off the tree when storms come. I need you to be
Sure
a
will.
root. Love should be the root, one of the roots. So if you love me, then you're becoming parts of my root. So that means when I'm being watered, you are sending nutrients to me. So you know how to pour into me. Those are roots, like love, words like that, that's roots. Leaves and stuff like that. Oh, I like you. You cool. We just chilling. We going with the okay. Yeah, no. We
Yeah.
don't need none of that. Like life be
Mm-mm.
life. I need some roots.
Okay. Okay. And that's where I'm at. I need those roots now. I don't need no branch. I don't need no limb. I don't need no leaves. I need roots in my life. And you can't be a root for me. Fly
Mhm,
away. I don't need you. Like, and that's just the way I'm
mhm,
feeling right now in life. I had too many leaves in my life. I had too many branches. I had too many limbs. If you can't be
mhm,
with me in the good and the bad, go
mhm.
about your business. And that's just where I'm at with it. Right. Good conversation, sis. As always, man. We got a little serious just then. So I'm gonna do this countdown. And you're gonna come back and do a twist on it. I want you to get a final thought on how you feel about this subject of love. And you got to tell them how to follow the Blemish Beauty podcast. All right.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I see, and I touched the mic because I was like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna mess up this time. The mic gonna be on. Okay, anyway. But is love enough? In my opinion, I believe it can be. When you know who you are and know whose you are, then your love will be enough because you will activate and you will maneuver in all things through God. And God's love is enough. So love should be enough. And if you find yourself in situations where your love is not enough or you're not enough, then those are not situations that you need to be in. Um, how you can find me at the Blemish Beauty Podcast is on Apple and Spotify every Tuesdays and Thursdays. The audio drops at 12 midnight. And then you can find me on Facebook and YouTube 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are all Eastern Standard Times. And of course, you know I'm going to be back at least 4, 5, 11 times here on Breaking the Silence because I'm her secret co-host and favorite sister and your favorite Jersey girl.
Only sister.
I mean, well, some people might not like that, but I'm trying to.
Only sister. It
Okay,
is
she
what
said what she
it is.
said. She said
I
what she
said what I
said.
said. I said
It
what I
is what it
said.
is.
Like I said, it's always a good time over here. She will be back, y'all. So stay tuned for your Jersey girl to come back. My favorite girl, Jersey girl. That's my favorite. You know you can't have. But anyway, so I'm gonna give y'all. Like I always say this, my sister be like, you say this all the time about your soapbox. So this is the twist soapbox. So is love enough? No, it's not. It can be. It can be enough. But the question is, are you willing to put in the work that you need to put in when it comes down to your relationships, when it comes down to your friendships, when it comes down to the titles that you choose in your life? Are you willing to go through the storms? Because even though you're in a friendship or you're in a family ship or however you want to put it, it's still going to be storms. It's still going to be things that you go through with a brother or a sister or a family member or what the case may be. Are you going to just bounce? Or are you going to stay there and weather the storm? A lot of times we are human. We're human. And we just, like you said, like my sister said, pride gets in the way. So you're like, well, she ain't talking to me. I ain't gonna talk to her either. When in reality, you need to have a conversation. Conversations save lives. They do. Conversations are needed in life. And a lot of times people take the coward way out and they don't want to express the way they feel about a person. Sometimes it's better, when we were kids, we used to play that game where you whisper something in somebody's ear, and then by the time it gets to the last person, then the whole story has changed, the whole dynamic has changed. So it's better for you to talk to that person yourself so they can get clarification from the beginning, right or wrong. Okay, I'm gonna get off this soapbox, y'all, but for real, love can be enough if you really mean it. Stop saying you love people if you really do not mean it. That 4-letter word is very powerful. Very powerful. It can either break things, it can ruin your life, it can change your life in a lot of ways for the good or the bad. So if you don't love people, stop saying it. Stop saying it. Anyway, all right, y'all. So until next time, y'all tune in every Tuesday for a Twisted Tuesday about real life situations, real conversation. If you want to send a topic in, you can hit the email. Or if you just want to connect and be a part of Twisted Tuesdays, you can also tune in as well. So until next time, later.
You could say hip hop is kid and play, and rap is Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, like to me it's the same thing, you know.
I mean, but I don't know. When Shera broke it down to me another way, she was like, okay, hip hop is like J. Cole and Nas, and then rap is like Kodak Black, them the ones that
that's like that's like more like gangster rap, basically, like the 50 Cents and the Lil Wayne. I would say Drake, but no, Drake is more R&B.
Yeah, Drake kind of like in the middle a little bit. I think he like in the middle a little bit. But I mean, I feel like, okay, I think what they're trying to say is if you got a message, then that's hip hop.
That's hip hop, yes, like Nas, yes indeed.
But still, you got these gangster raps